Well, better late than never. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, I'm going to be giving you my spoiler-free thoughts on the Black Widow film starring Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow. And guys, as far as this goes, I might be touching on some small details, but I will do my best not to give any major plot points away or reveals. Now, that being said, going into this film, I did have a little bit of unease because of different camps talking about what makes this film trash, what makes this film great. And the thing about it is that I just tried to go in with a middle-of-the-road mentality, Again, especially since this film came out a lot later than a lot of us Marvel Cinematic Universe fans would have liked, and preferably we would have actually preferred to get this film instead of a Captain Marvel film for different reasons, but I'm not going to get into that right this second. So overall, guys, whether you have or haven't seen the film, let's jump into my thoughts of Black Widow. So in this film, we actually see Natasha on the run after the events of Civil War, and of course, in doing so, she actually is forced to meet back up with her surrogate family, including her younger sister, Yelena Belova, Lexi, aka Red Guardian, who was her father, and Milena, who was her mother and everything. And essentially, they have to team up to take down the organization which created them, and they all worked for, aka the Red Room, led by Dreykov, whose right-hand assassin is called Taskmaster, who can essentially mimic all the fighting styles and moves of the world's greatest Avengers, including Black Widow. And guys, it's really fascinating the stuff that we find out about her past in this, especially all the dirty deeds that she had to do to get where she is, to actually be freed from the organization in the first place. But not only that, but also to kind of get where she is as a hero, I mean, technically she is a trained assassin and killer responsible for several different things over the decades that were not exactly kosher. And just to see the lengths that she had gone to, but also in this film, she actually addresses her ledger, which is dripping, which she's trying to basically cleanse and give a clean slate and everything. And again, one of the big proponents of this film is her trying to have a redemption story, which I think it actually fits pretty nicely when we look at everything throughout the years of her development as a side character and kind of in small doses, and then also to being a big gear character and having her sacrifice in Endgame as we have been shown. And we finally get introduced to her family unit, and that essentially was a family that she was implanted in as a sleeper cell. They weren't technically family members, but they did end up going into America, and they were in suburban Ohio for a time before having to flee to Cuba and eventually being dispersed back into their separate little units. Of course, Natasha and Yelena, as we find out, actually were raised in the Red Room and forced to be these killing machines, essentially, and forced to do the work of none other than the nemesis of the film, which is Dreykov, the master or head of the Red Room organization, which trained all of not just her, but dozens of other young girls to become Black Widow super spies. And so that was one of the interesting things that I found to be very cool, is that not only is she Black Widow, but there are other widows across the globe as a kind of, secret spy network, taking out and doing different, deeds behind the scenes, as it were. Almost like a kind of the Winter Soldier experiment, as it were, with the different other soldiers that they had been alluded to in the Civil War film as well. Jumping back to this one, though, I thought that this one was really good. Again, much more kind of consistent with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It wasn't something that retconned awesome moments such as Captain Marvel. For example, there's a point where you actually get a little bit more of the Budapest story and everything from her perspective, where it doesn't ruin something that already seemed cool. Kind of like how, Winter Soldier set up Nick Fury losing his eye in Bogota or something like that, when really, apparently, that happened because, a goddamn space cat scratched his eye out. Yes, I went there, and no, I'm still not over it. But jumping back to the film, it has a very awesome set of action, humor. Some people were rubbed the wrong way by the humor. Like, for example, a lot of people said that Red Guardian was basically a lunkhead, and basically his depiction is that men bad, women good. I didn't get that. All I got out of that was that the guy was just a dumbass and kind of ignorant and stuff like that, as this specific character seems to be. That doesn't mean that all men are that way. Now, of course, when you couple that with the fact that you got, Dreykov, maybe you might have a little bit of suspect there. But honestly, I didn't take that as, oh my god, all men are bad and all men are terrible. Just the different men in this film are kind of idiots and assholes. Thunderbolt Ross, Lexi, then you got freaking Dreykov. Although the freaking friend zone guy who was always getting stuff for Natasha, he didn't seem too bad. He actually seemed pretty cool. I thought that the best character inside of the film was Yelena, played excellently by Florence Pugh. She's a very awesome actress, and I gotta be honest, I haven't seen her in much stuff. I've seen clips here and there of her different film roles and whatnot. I know that she really had kind of a big breakout with some recent films, including Fighting with My Family, Midsummer. I don't know why I always have trouble saying that. But in this film, she really brought the A game here, and she had done an excellent job on the emotional kind of level. She was able to play the humor, play the poignancy of the character, and I enjoyed really getting to know this character. And of course, throughout the film and even the end credit scene, you realize we're not done with Yelena, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she does bring to the table in future appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Taskmaster has been a center of controversy, which I'm not going to get into the specifics of why, only that the reveal that was done in this film for, Taskmaster and his background, as it were, was definitely not 100% accurate to the comic book canon. Now, I would say this is the major part where I said, okay, this is a little bit ridiculous. I would have preferred a straight adaptation of whatever they did. I understand why they made the alterations and the changes and how they manipulated and changed the origin story a little bit. Marvel tends to do this with every film that they do. For every badass epic moment that they change or add or incorporate from the comics, you find that there's about 15 to 20 little things that they don't get 100% right or that they change altogether. And yes, folks, this is another Mandarin level moment from Iron Man 3, and there's no way to get around it, unfortunately, just because that's how Marvel plays it. They want to, play with the way that the villains are, and it doesn't always give them justice, and unfortunately, this is one of those things that didn't work for me personally. I'm not going to get into the specifics here, but of course, as some of the rumors suggest, which you can find online, it wasn't very well received by a lot of hardcore Marvel Comics fans. But overall, paint by numbers, enjoyable Marvel flick, humor, action, visually awesome, decent story. Scarlett Johansson is, of course, a beast in the role of Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. And it offers up plenty to be enjoyed. And I definitely recommend seeing it if you haven't already. And go and see it in the theater, because paying $30 for a home viewing of something that should be enjoyed on a bigger screen with bombastic sound is just nonsensical. But anyway, guys, that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me on my review of Black Widow. And guys, again, I appreciate all the support and all the love. If you dug the video, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are sub, hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. But until next time, guys, as always, I'm Jay. So take care, and bye.